Hey guys, Vazzy back here, and it is finally time for episode 2 of our Calgary Flames franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in this video, I do plan on getting to the halfway mark of the season. That being 41 games in, we will simulate through that and see how we are doing. So with that being said, I'll take a quick look at the roster here if you didn't see the first episode or just need a refresher. Haven't changed any of the lines, nothing like that. They're all the same as they were in the introduction episode. I'm not really expecting too much from this team, as in real life we did lose quite a few big pieces at the trade deadline in real life. So that being said, I actually wanted to take a look at contracts here first. Not a ton of guys that need extensions here. I honestly kind of want to do Shillington right now, just because he sims so good and may as well get him cheap. Like, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. 1150 for 2 years, I'm totally good with that. Can always bury it if it doesn't work. And Dustin Wolf wants a little bit of money, so we can wait off on him for the moment. So let's simulate up to our first game here against the Winnipeg Jets. Shillington does accept the extension, so I think that'll be really good if he does manage to pop off. I think I have him on the power play, one of them anyway, so. Here in Calgary, first period is 3-0. Kadri gets 1 and Sharangovich gets 2 goals for us there. Second period, Backlund adds 1 for us and Velarde gets 1 back for the Jets. Third period, we do win 5-2, Kadri and Pionk. So we do take the home opener of the 2023-24 season against the Winnipeg Jets, as Sharangovich had a 4-point night, so that was a very good start off for him. Going up against the Pittsburgh Penguins here early on. We do lose in the shootout, unfortunately, by a score of 3-2. Have a couple of injuries there coming up in the AHL, nothing too crazy. Dropped the game there against the Washington Capitals 5-1. And going up here to the first back-to-back of the season against the Sabres and the Jackets. Do beat the Sabres 2-1. Let's get Dan Vladar his first action of the NHL season. Again, I'm probably going to give Markstrom more starts, but I want to make sure Vladar gets a fair amount of starts as well. Looking at the AHL here, I actually do want to make a quick change here on defense. Let's substitute in the prospect that we got from Dallas in the trade, Greshnikov. Should probably get him playing. He might be able to make the lineup here at some point, as well as a Kodiak. Get him on the top pairing defense. He has some potential, could come up at some point there for us. So with all those moves being made, give Vladar his first start of the season here against the Jackets. And he loses 5-2, not the best starts for the season for him. Up against the Red Wings, we lose 3-1. And against the Rangers, we lose 4-2. So Dan Vladar loses all 3 of his first starts. And definitely probably didn't put up the best numbers, I'm assuming. You know, again, we're not expecting too much out of this team overall. Looking at some of the point scoring, it's very underwhelming to say the least. The first line, they're doing okay, I guess you can say. Looking at the third line, Zari 1 point, Coronado 3 goals, that's it. Let's move Zari up, put Backlund into that more defensive role on the third line. See if we can spark these guys, as definitely need to start scoring some goals here. Beat the Blues by a score of 5-2, going up against the Edmonton Oilers here for our first meeting of the season with them. So one idea I did have is, every time we face the Oilers, I say we jump in, just with it being a rivalry game. May as well just be a little bit of fun to the series. Miramonov, Huberdeau get goals for us, McDavid gets them for them. Kuzmenko gets 2 in the second for us, followed by Evander Kane getting 1 for the Oilers. And in the third, we do take it Greer and Draisaitl, but we do hold on to win by a score of 5-3. But yeah, I think that could be fun jumping into all the Oilers games. We could maybe keep a record somewhere of just our overall meetings with them in this franchise mode. As we lose against the Dallas Stars, going up against the Seattle Kraken here, we lose 3-1, as Huberdeau is our leading point scorer with 9 and 11. It's not great. He has 1 goal on the year. We beat the Nashville Predators 3-2, and going to Toronto for our first meeting against them this year, get shut out by a score of 2-0. So again, let us go and switch out the goalies here and just make sure everything is all good with the lines. We'll get Dustin Wolf back in there in the AHL, and we'll give Vladar a couple of more starts here. So Vladar against the Senators, Slovyov in the AHL goes down. We lose 5-2. Vladar is still looking for his first win of the season, I believe. Another loss against the Canadiens, up against the Vancouver Canucks here. He does win by a score of 5-1. So I do believe that is his first win of this season. Let's see here. Yeah, he's 1 win in 6 games. Definitely not the best numbers overall as well. Then going back to the forward core here, Zari's actually put up some decent numbers since moving up to the second line. Coronado, he hasn't done anything on that third line. I think we should maybe send him down with Peltier. Get Walker Dewar in there for now, and then make that swap there with Coronado and Peltier. I think he might be more suited for a third line role where Coronado might need top 6 ice time, where he's probably not ready for that at this point. I'd rather give him some time in the AHL just to dominate, put up those points, and then come back maybe later this season or for sure at the start of the next year, being a full-fledged top 6 player, hopefully. But yeah, we'll get Peltier on the third line there with Backlund and Coleman. Could be a good defensive line, actually. It's not bad. And then we will get Coronado back on the top line in the AHL. So again, I think that's just going to be best for both players. Looking at Peltier in the AHL, not great, only 5 points in 12 games. But he has his opportunity here in the prime time in the NHL. Another AHL injury there. We'll swap out some defensemen here very quickly. See who we even have scratched at this point. We can actually get Slovyov back in there. Forgot he just came back recently. Gives it a -1, but it's not the end of the world. Apparently he was on the shootout lineup as well. I hate when they put the defenseman in the shootout. Get Cole Schwint back in there. Again, not the biggest issue in the world, just being the AHL. But let us get back to the simulation here. First game, after making those changes against the Islanders, win 3-1 up against the Seattle Kraken. In Seattle, we lose by a score of 5-4. Go up against the Predators here. Another 4-0 loss. We're just really having issues scoring goals here, it appears, as we are now 20 games through the season, more or less a quarter of the way there. Let's switch the goaltenders out, and then we'll take a look at some of the stats overall for this team. Again, we might have to make some changes in the lineup just to even get some of our guys going, make sure they don't drop off too far, and maybe even grow a couple of other guys as well. So Coleman being the leading scorer is definitely concerning. Kuzmenko, Huberdeau having struggling years. Zari's doing okay since moving up. Sharangovich hasn't been great. I definitely think we're going to have to make a couple of moves there. Peltier has 1 assist in 4 games, but we're just plain and simple not scoring enough here. Markstrom's actually putting up very good numbers for the goal scoring he is getting, his goal support. AHL Jeremy Poirier on defense is leading the way. Coronado down there, I think he had 6 points in 4 games, so he is doing good in his very small sample size down there. But let's make some changes here. We probably shouldn't be going on too farther here with the lines we currently have set. Let's get Sharangovich up there for Kuzmenko, see if we can spark Kuzmenko. And let's get Coleman up the line with Mangiapane. That way the top 9 has a new player on each line, new combos there, hopefully bring some chemistry there to the new lines, but we'll have to see after making those changes. Let's continue the simulation and see if that affects anything. Shutout to the Avalanche, so not a good start. Up against the Vegas Golden Knights, lose 3-2. Trade offer saying no to. Going up against the Dallas Stars definitely hasn't been great a season so far for us, as we beat them 9-5, so there's some goal support for us. We let in a bunch, but definitely got some goal support as well. Beat the Canucks in overtime 4-3. Going out against the Minnesota Wild, another 4-3 win, so we're stringing a couple of wins together. That's good to see. Up against the Hurricanes, 11-2 win. That's some goal support. Huberdeau put up an 8-point night for the Flames. Holy, that is insane. 5 points for Kadri. Wow, Huberdeau with the 8-point night in an 11-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. That's insane, and he instantly becomes our top team point scorer after that performance. Another 5-4 win over the Devils, so we're putting some wins together and we're scoring some goals, which is good to see. And I believe that was Vladar in the net for all those games there, so he is starting to pick up a few wins there for us. And yeah, he has a 6-8 record now instead of about like a 1-6 record, whatever it was, so he's doing better. Wolf in the AHL, he's actually putting up pretty good numbers for us, a 940 save percentage, 179 goals against. We definitely have to get this guy into the NHL lineup sooner than later. Again, maybe we call him up here and see what he can do at the NHL level compared to the AHL. Continuing on with the sim, back-to-back losses against the Golden Knights and the Minnesota Wild and the Tampa Bay Lightning, so that ends our streak of pretty good games, but we do answer back and beat the Panthers. Take a look at the stats here quickly, see what's going on. Huberdeau leading the way. Zari has 26 points. He has really picked up the pace. That is very good to see. 26 points, 32 games. Again, he is one of the players we want to build around, so that is awesome to see that production coming in from him. Kuzmenko there, a little concerning. We'll have to see. Peltier is actually doing not too bad for himself in his limited run. And goaltending-wise, Markstrom's still doing pretty good, and Vladar is slowly starting to pull his numbers back to where they probably should be. So nothing too concerning at the moment, at least. I think the line changes that we've made have definitely helped out the team. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but we definitely seem to be scoring more goals than we were prior to making those changes. As we now sit 15-8-1 against the Kraken. We lose in overtime to them. Going up here next against the Philadelphia Flyers. Let's take a look at the lines here quickly. Do I want to get Zari on that top line? Really try and make him that star player? The only issue is, yeah, he is a playmaker in game, and so is Huberdeau, so I don't know if that would maybe mess anything up. Again, he's leading this team in points right now with 30 and 35. I don't think we really want to mess up a good thing if that is working currently, that second line. But we beat the Flyers by a score of 5-4, followed by another win against the Wild, 5-3. As we sit one game below 500, but we do lose to the Predators. Up against the Flyers for the second time in a week here, we lose 4-3. So again here, final time in this video at least, let's switch the goalies back. We'll give Vladar one start, and then we'll jump into the final game of the season and give it to Markstrom. Let's get AJ Greer back on the fourth line. We saw a little bit of what Walker Dueller can do, but want to get Greer back there for a permanent fourth line role up against the horrible Blackhawks, and they do beat us in overtime. Let's get Markstrom back in there for the last simulation game of this episode. Let's see what his stats are looking like, everything too, after that. I'm assuming they probably dropped off a little bit, but we'll have to see. Going up against the Senators here, like I said, the last simulation game. They have a pretty good record for the most part. First period against the Senators, Stützle gets 2 for them. Coleman gets 1 back for us. The second period, they extend the lead. Dominic Kubalik adds 1. It is 3-1. And in the third, it is no goal scoring at all. The Senators to take the final game here by a score of 3-1. As, oh no, it looks like Markstrom actually went down in that game. I did not recognize that. So now is the time for Wolf to get his shot at the NHL level, which kind of works out for the most part, actually. We were saying we wanted to get him back in the NHL lineup, so the injury to Markstrom will give him that chance. Just get whoever is the backup in the AHL there. But yeah, next episode, we are going to be having Dustin Wolf start some games and see how he can do. Don't expect anything too crazy like his AHL numbers, but you never know. Looking just at our NHL scoring here in closing, forward-wise, Huberdeau's leading the way, 36 and 41. He's having a pretty good year. Zari right behind him has been incredible. Kuzmenko's been disappointing, minus 13, 22 points, that's it. Other than that, no one's really standing out to me. Peltier again, 12 points, 25 games, that's not bad. Defensively, Rasmus Andersson leading the way with 26. He's minus 11 though. Other than that, no one really here is standing out. And goaltending-wise, yeah, Markstrom's numbers have dropped off a bit. And Vladar's have stayed more or less the same to what they were. They're not amazing overall, but he had that rough start, so that was more or less expected. But overall, I do think that is going to do it for episode 2 of this Calgary franchise mode in NHL 24. Again, in the next episode, we will be finishing off the final 41 games of the regular season and moving on toward the off-season or playoffs, whatever may happen. I doubt playoffs. I don't think we're going to get on that good of a run, but you never know with this game. But yeah, with that being said, we are going to finish up this season in the next episode. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video.